thing for me, quite honestly, because I think if you're a wargamer for a long time, like it sounds Aaron has been and some of you others may have been, eventually over time you discover, once upon a time it was actually very hard to find opponents, is my point. We'd felt lucky if we could find a group of regular gamers and opponents that we could be against, and with the advent of distributed gaming, for want of a better phrase, and there's whatever the experience might be, being able to come together with people and experience these games is great. The one thing I will say about this game, unlike a lot of other games, and I know that it was mentioned that people like Dean and others are interested in elements of design, this game is wildly atypical. And the reason for that is Paddy Griffith, in the later part of his life, became a huge wargaming heretic. He was raised in the era of miniatures gaming and of tabletop gaming, particularly Napoleonic and World War II, the two preferred periods, and also the American Civil War. But he eventually decided that miniatures had become an obstacle to games more than they were a benefit. That people got into the aesthetics and the scale, but they forgot about the way war actually works, or that the way it could be simulated. And that, yes, absolutely. And he was the one, and that's why, and that's one of the reasons I'm so fond, and that's why I stay out with Fun Rice Fits, because frankly, he invents D&D. That's the long story short. The guy behind me is the man who invents the 1824 Kriegspiel, which he learned from his father. And it was he that introduced the concept into gaming of having an umpire to adjudicate events. And it was because of his work that Gary Gygax played that we have the opportunity, I believe, seriously, to have Dungeons & Dragons and the various forms of role-playing that we have today. So there's pretty much a direct line in my judgment. But this game was Paddy Griffith's attempt to take S.L.A. Marshall's work in Men Against Fire and put it on a tabletop. And the thing about this is, and the thing that's going to be a little strange about this, you're going to be seeing initially, for most of the game, very, very little. It's a matter of, if this were played in the way that Paddy intended it, you would be sitting in a room and I would have a table with the miniatures on it, and you would have your back to it. And you would hear me describing to you what's happening, but I'd be moving it behind you. Well, in a distributed environment like we have, what instead we're going to do is you're going to be here in this chat room with each other, looking at me and looking at each other. I'm going to be over on a tabletop. And this is a virtual tabletop that I am manipulating through Tabletop Simulator. And let's see here. So what we're going to be doing is over here in Tabletop Simulator, I'm going to be running this game. And each of you has been sent a card. S.L.A. Marshall, one of the seminal pieces of his work.
One quick second.
Oh,
we have a last joined person, Lexi, who is our program director, was able to make it, thank
awesome.
God. I will send her a character profile, I believe. One quick second. I got to make sure that I have no repeats.
I have extras if you need them.
Yeah, can you send me one extra one via email?
Sure. We do that very quickly.
Yeah. Lexi, great to have you.
Thank you.
All right.
Don't worry about it. I'm only in here picking out your personality. I probably won't judge you.
Yeah, this game is pretty atypical in the sense that you get like character profiles. All right.
You're all good. I had to pick out my Delta Green profile on Thursday.
Oh, okay. Cool.
All right. So actually, while we do this, I will try to take a photo of us. So can everyone quickly just come on video for a quick moment and smile and pretend like you're having a good time? All right, great. Thank you. That will go out in our newsletter. But yes, Jim, do you have that?
In just a second.
Yep. And I'll send it to Lexi over the chat. All right, you guys can get off video. No point in staring at each other awkwardly if you don't want to.
Sebastian, I'm already having a good time. I have beer, but no pretzels, though.
Ah. I'm more of a nacho person.
All right, I sent it over to you.
Yeah, perfect. Yep, I got it.
It is Oktoberfest till tomorrow, so
Nice.
take advantage of it.
All right.
Enjoy.
All right, Lexi, you should have it in the chat. And Jim, take it away.
And so, well, let's talk about these cards. When Marshall wrote his book, he discovered, or he argued actually, a lot of things. And many of them become consequential to military thinking for a generation. Really, some of them affect us still today. But one of his biggest conclusions, and the one that was incredibly controversial at the time, but it eventually held the field, was that the vast majority of fighting was done by a minority of soldiers. That by and large, when individuals, men at the time, were confronted with fire, men against fire, that they would by and large choose those things that would tend towards their own safety. Now, that wasn't always outright cowardice, but it was keeping their heads down, avoiding advancing, and certainly not presenting themselves in a way that would present a profile to the enemy that, I don't know, they could shoot at. And so as a consequence, you needed individuals who he just described in the work as fighters, who are the ones that are going to have to shoulder the burden of the load. And in this work, Paddy Griffith, Professor Griffith, tries to suggest the challenge of that problem. In addition, he also wants to talk about the confusion of the modern battlefield. That even though you're in a relatively defined battle space, that even in a very small world, even within a few feet of your present circumstance, you can find yourself utterly confused and in an utterly confusing situation that makes mustering your capacity to fight, to make war, very limited. And so with that in mind, that's sort of the spirit of what this is. But again, it's not a typical war game. Now, I'm showing the folks that are following the stream, and unfortunately, you guys don't get to see the stream until later to find out what this is. This is set in the summer of 1944. Let's call it July, just among us friends. And you are a squad of soldiers who have been tasked with a patrol, a very typical mission in this period. Simply making your way across terrain of various types and clearing it of the enemy. I will tell you, because you could have seen this, had you been playing this game in a I guess I suppose a non-virtual setting, that the game measures 6 feet by 4 feet. However, everything is as to scale. So now I have to do this very quickly. Excuse me just 1 minute. Where do I find all these fun tools? There it is. And I have to reach over here to grab it. And I just very quickly, because I don't think it'll take too terribly long, to go through the rules.
Are you using the same scale as was
Correct.
recommended by Griffith? 1 inch equals 3. Is it 3 yards?
3 yards, exactly. That's exactly right. What sort of things matter in this game? You're not going to worry overly much about I will tell you what types of weapons you have, but this is not a weapon crunchy simulation. You shouldn't think it is. Nor is it particularly map driven. It's a game where you're going to struggle for situational awareness. And that is honestly the greatest challenge that I think you're going to have throughout the game. Let me just check this thing over here. All right. Each one of you is an individual soldier. Each one of you should see the name of that soldier on the card. Each one of you has a facing that is based on the unit type that you have. You have a front left, front right, back right, and back. Pretty simple, pretty intuitive stuff. So that's what you're going to have, and that's how you're going to relate to me as the game runner, your directions, your orders, etc. And as was said, and so what's going to happen each turn, the first thing that's going to occur is that I'm going to ask each of you for your instructions for your character for that turn. What do you want to do? Unless you are pinned, you may speak to each other. If you are pinned, you may not. But if you are not pinned, you may talk to each other. Then I will measure out what any unplayed Americans do. I have chosen, under the circumstances, not to have unplayed Americans. And then we're going to decide what the Germans will do. And they each have been given orders by me in advance, trying to keep me from being too gamey and keep it a little bit honest. Then we're going to apply those rules to resolve movement, visibility, and combat. And then you can again finish talk. You can continue talking to yourself, or to yourselves, to each other, as we go through to see what you saw and did that turn. The one thing you don't do, unless you are in a chain of command situation, is tell the other players what to do. You can suggest, but ultimately it's only that person that tells me as the umpire what it is that they're supposed to do. Okay? You do not get to do situational orders. The way that Paddy describes it, the players must reach firm decisions and should not keep the GM waiting or give him conditional courses of action. If you do, I'll give you a warning and we'll just keep moving as if you gave a very basic forward order. What orders can you do? Well, you can move. You may conduct aimed fire. You may conduct unaimed fire in the general direction of a specific target, of an unspecified target, forgive me. You may watch for a target to show if one appears, overwatch. You may care for the wounded. You may lie low. Okay? In all but the last two cases, care for the wounded and simply lying low, it's assumed you're looking to your front. Every other case, you do not have in those last two, you do not have situational awareness. Visibility is 90 degrees to your front. In daylight, a walking or running man or a moving tank, I love that, at any range is visible. They may be, however, obstructed by terrain, crawling, prone, etc. If you see another soldier, I will describe him to you, as well as give you a general sense of his armament. So what are your types of movement? 3 kinds. Crawling, very short. Walking, and running. The problem with running is that you run the risk, no pun, of becoming disoriented. If you tell me you are running, I have to check against the fact that you might suddenly wind up facing the wrong way. I won't tell you you've become disoriented, you just will be. And it'll be up to you in your mind to figure out which way you're facing. Most of you are equipped with an M1 Garand rifle. However, confirm for me, please tell me that this is so. I gotta find there he is. I presume Private Audie Murphy is somewhere in evidence? Somebody got that character?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Excellent. You have the BAR.
Yes! The weapon that always jams when you need it most.
Do I indeed also have present, and you'll forgive me, I won't call you by your names, I'm going to call you by your character names. Do I also have present, where are my guys? I thought I had them labeled a little better. There we go. Do I have Sergeant Gerald Ignatius Joe?
You most certainly do.
Pleasure to have you. And do I also have Corporal Ingmar Bergman?
Confirmed.
Thank you very much. You are both equipped with the machine pistol. All others are equipped with the M1 Garand rifle. It only modestly affects your range. That's the major effect thereof. So as I say, you may crawl, you may walk, you may run, remembering that running risks disorientation. You may fire. Fire is either aimed or unaimed. If you conduct aimed fire, that is what will cause wounds and kills. Unaimed fire is intended at suppression, pinning someone, but cannot result in kills. And by the way, how does it work? You tell me you want to fire at someone, and I check and tell you what happens as a consequence. You may conduct hand-to-hand combat. It is conducted at very close range. How close? You'll have to get close. You may provide medical aid to a wounded comrade. This requires you to be adjacent to them, and I will be rolling dice to see what the outcome is. Those are all the rules, with one gigantic exception. You remember I told you that you have a mission. And that mission is to cross a map. And that mission is to get anyone that you find that might be of a German persuasion, either incapacitated or dead. If you look at each of your cards, you will discover that they have the following. Your name. It will describe you as a fighter or a non-fighter. Remember we talked about S.L.A. Marshall's belief that people fall into two categories. You also have a reputation. We'll talk about that in a second. You then have, how do you personally win this game? Yes, there is a squad goal. But you have a personal objective that may conflict. In fact, many of them do. You win if, and they're typically ifs and statements, if A and B. You should know those things and keep them in mind. If at any time you would like a description of what you're seeing ahead of you, that there's something I can tell you, please ask for it. I'm going to start slowly and then pick up speed as we go. What about that reputation piece? I give you an opportunity here because there's a measure of role-playing in here. When I call out your name, to introduce yourself as that person and tell folks, based on what you see on that reputation line, what people think about you with respect to your bravery. You don't have to be exhaustive. It's not War and Peace. But it's a simple few sentences about what people view you, how people view you with respect to your heroism. So with that in mind, let's at least introduce our cast of characters. Who, may we say, is Sergeant Gerald Ignatius Joe?
I think Sergeant.
Yes, I am here. I am so sorry for that. Gerald Ignatius Joe is a fighter who is always there, always on the front lines, and is never backing down from a fight.
All right, so that's what you all think about that guy. That's his rep. Excellent. Thank you very much. How about you, Corporal Ingmar Bergman? What do people think about you?
I'm a solid team player, that I care about the team and that we're moving forward to the objective. We will make it.
Okay, a lot of positive energy. I like that. All right, so we got Gerald Ignatius Joe out. We've got Ingmar Bergman out. Might as well pull him out. Private Audie Murphy carrying the BAR. What do they think about you?
Audie Murphy here. I'm a fighter, potential Medal of Honor winner sometime. And I could potentially get a lot of battlefield promotions. I might even be a major by the time this war's over.
That's good.
Excellent. Let's grab somebody else. How about Private Velker?
That's me right here. So I am a non-fighter, and my squad or my fellow troops, they don't really depend on me that much.
They're not. And generally speaking, we're not going to. It's fine that you're revealed as a non-fighter. That's not a big deal. But we should just focus on your reputation. So the folks know that Private Velker, maybe not the most reliable guy in the squad. Something that Sergeant Joe might want to pay attention to. Excellent. Do we have Private Thorin Deli Nor? We have that one out there? Okay. How about Private Wendell Wilkie? We got Private Wilkie out there? All right. Let's see here. How about Private O.H. Law?
Here, my fellow troops don't really rely on me for a whole lot. Kind of at the back of the bunch, eating snacks while everyone else is eating away.
Oh, no.
Oh boy, we've all met this guy. Do we have our Private Michael Midgie Antler?
Sebastian, where did you get these names, man?
Oh, that's me, man. That's you. I got it.
Oh, Jim, this is your fault? Okay.
Yeah, no.
Are these people you work with, some of them?
Every one of them is a story. Every one of them is a story. All right. And do we have Private Devlin?
Yes, that's me. I seem like someone who would save an injured comrade, but I haven't really had a chance to prove myself yet.
All right. So you're someone who might actually step up and do that thing. All right. Awesome. All right. Did I miss any of our characters? Please let me know. These are our 6. Okay.
May I ask for a roster call by title and by who it is again? Is that okay?
Absolutely.
I'm sorry.
Sergeant Gerald Ignatius Joe.
Hold on, Sergeant Joe. Give me the last name and the first.
Joe.
The title. Yep.
Oh, Sergeant Joe. Corporal Bergman.
Uh-huh.
Private Murphy. Private
Okay.
Kerr. Kerr.
Okay.
Private Law.
Okay.
And Private Devlin.
And just a roster on who's who. I'm Bergman. Who's everyone else?
I am just Joe, Sergeant Joe.
Who just spoke? I'm sorry, I wasn't reading the sign.
Mark. I am Sergeant Joe.
Okay.
And
Murphy?
Aaron, I'm Audie Murphy.
Okay. Thank you. Who's Kara?
That's me, Nick.
Nick. Thank you, Nick. And Law?
Lexi.
Lexi. And Devlin is
Sarah.
Sarah. Thanks so much, guys.
All right. So what you have before you, and what I'm showing to everybody else that would be you, is a lovely scene of the Normandy Bocage. But what you're going to hear about is what's before you and to your front and to your left. And remembering that as you're looking out, so what you see is to your front left, you're sort of in a lane, in a wide lane. Remembering that in inches, 3 yards, you've got about 33 yards across. And to either side, to your front left and to your front right, there's fields of crops. And they go on for quite a good distance ahead of you, ending, the crops do, in lines of trees. So, for the last time, and I'm not going to let you do this directly, you get to disport yourselves, to array yourself. Sergeant, I'm going to ask you, how do you want to spread your troops out?
Okay. I think we're going to have a line with me at the front, and then followed by Private Murphy, Private Kerr, then the corporal, and then the Private Law and Private Devlin. And
So line
line.
ahead? You want to go
Line
line ahead? That's cool.
Repeat that, please. Just Sergeant ahead. Then we have Karen and Murphy.
It's going to be Joe, Murphy, Kerr, Bergman.
Yep.
And then I've got Devlin and Law.
Okay.
All right, so you're in a line ahead and you're sort of between. So now, not only to your front left and your front right, but also to your right and to your left, you've got those fields that I was describing to you. These are crop fields. They go out a great distance to both your left and your right. They also go forward and they end in a line of trees some yards ahead of you, but you're not there yet. So with that, let's just remember each of you are armed with M1 grants. Oh, I should mention, you also have pockets full of grenades. No ammo limitations. You can fire as many of them as you would care to. You can, but they have a limited range. Suffice to say, it's short. Just making sure I've got all my I's dotted and T's crossed.
And Aaron's weapon's an anti-tank, is that, or what is it?
Which one?
I have the BAR, which is the squad kind of machine gun. It's
Okay.
it's a heavy. It's supposed to be the heavy weapon of the squad.
Right. It's the Browning automatic rifle, and as was correctly said, it was highly prone to jamming. One of the nice things about Men Against Fire, because it isn't tech crunchy that way, it doesn't jam.
Yay.
It it doesn't necessarily hit every time you might like it to, but it does not jam. All right. Got it. All right. With that said, let's get after it. I'm going to go down the row since that's where you set yourself. You're going to have to tell me what your order is. And remember, you can communicate to each other once we get through this phase, and I have to figure out what I'm adjudicating. So again, remembering that your options are, you may move, you may conduct aimed fire, you may conduct unaimed fire, you may watch for a target to see if it appears, you may care for the wounded, or lie low. So with that said, Sergeant Joe, what do you want to do? Oh, and you must give me, if you're moving, a direction. One of those 45-degree angle type directions I gave you. Front, front left, front right, right left, rear right, and back.
Okay. I presume I'll move front along the road.
And again, I don't mean to I don't want to give disinformation. It's not a road, it's a row between these two columns of crops.
Oh, okay. Move front to the front along the row.
Straight to the front, moving at a walk?
Yep.
Very good. How about you, Private Murphy? What do you feel like doing?
I will continue to follow my squad leader. I will walk forward behind him.
Got it.
Till we can figure out what we're going to do here.
Private Velker.
I will also walk forward behind Murphy and the sergeant.
Corporal Bergman.
Following with them.
Devlin.
Yeah, I'd like to walk forward as well.
Good, thank you. Law.
I'll walk forward.
All right, look, congratulations, Sergeant Joe. You've got yourself a disciplined squad that doesn't like to go ferreting off into the bushes, at least before the shooting has started. So we're taking a look now, and we'll give you the situation. Sergeant Joe, you've advanced along. You've almost reached, if you look to your left and to your right, you've almost reached the edge of the crops. You have begun to reach the edge of the trees. You now see ahead that the crops continue past the trees on your left, but they don't on the right. At the right, you observe to your front and right. I'm going to guess that it's about at 60 yards range, 70 yards range. There's a small house, and that's to your front right. And there's also a stone wall right in front of that house. Also ahead of you to your front and right, there is a sizable length of bocage. There is also one to your front and left. There is, however, directly ahead of you, I would guess that it's at about, 60 yards range. At about 60 yards range ahead, a gap in that bocage, and you can see a road just beyond that. You may conduct a brief conversation. You can yell back in the line, I guess, if you want. Otherwise, you can tell me what you're going to do this round.
So I'm thinking it's probably a good idea if we check out that house.
Second it.
Okay.
I agree. I think I should move back in the line, though, as the squad's heavy weapon to provide covering fire should we come under fire from that house. I don't want to get taken out immediately being the second person in line.
Yes.
And I would suggest maybe our sergeant back up as well so he doesn't get waxed right away.
And then I think we should maybe orient ourselves in a lot, not in a front to back line, but then spread out so that we head off to the front left and take up position, like go into the bocage and then be able to look at. No.
So roll a line out left.
Yeah, form a line out left and be able to look.
Where are we
Okay.
checking on the house, or because I thought that was to the front right?
There's
The house is to your front right.
House to the right.
And then then move off to the right and not in a line abreast, somewhat with equal spacing, kind of.
And it is, just to be clear, it is permissible to ask, just like you did in your first turn, which is excellent. You intuited that. I really appreciated that. But it is permissible to orient yourself relative to one of your fellow soldiers.
Perfect. So
Can we describe the line where we're going to line out, roll into the right?
well, that's
Who's
the
going to
thing.
stand where?
That's the thing. You could say what you want to do, but at the end of the day, I got to say, as the umpire, Sergeant G.I. Joe, which way you going?
perfect. Okay. So I just think we should all just, with Bergman and me hanging back, the rest of the people should move up to the right.
I think we should space one between just so that the leadership doesn't get knocked out if something happens.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Two people, I think Joe, 2 people, Bergman, 2 people. Does that make sense?
Okay.
We can stay behind.
All right. So now it comes down to me asking individual soldiers, G.I. Joe, what you doing?
G.I. Joe, I will walk. I will stay where I am.
Stand where you are, looking to the front. Got it. Private Murphy.
Having the squad's heavy weapon, if they're going to be checking out the house, I need to lay down a base of fire for them. So I don't see where I can just, I'm looking at the choices of actions. I'm not going to be shooting yet, but I want to get into a position, like a prone position, where I can lay down covering fire.
Yeah, what you want to do then is you want to go watch for fire, sort of a thing.
Okay, that works.
You can do that, and you can just tell me you're doing that. You're staying where you are, looking for fire front right.
Yeah, I don't want to be standing up though. I want to be
Sure.
in a prone or kneeling position.
All right, we're going to scoot you that way. Just the key to remember is your orientation is important should the shooting start and the running start and all that stuff.
Yeah,
So
front right towards the house.
Yep, I have oriented you front right. Got it. Private Kerr.
So I guess the sergeant wants us to move up to the front right. So I will move up to the front right, oriented towards the house, and I'll go in front of the sergeant and the other guy who moved. I forget his name.
What you see ahead of you, Kerr, is that you've got G.I. Joe looking forward. Your sergeant is looking forward and kind of waving you around. Then you've got Audie Murphy, who's doing making very clear what he wants you to do, but he's also hunkering down with that BAR pointing forward to the house. So you're going to turn front right, okay? Just remember, you've pivoted, and now you're going to walk forward.
Yes.
Got it? Well, I think you heard what was going on there, Corporal Bergman. What do you want to do?
I'm going to run out to the right of Kerr and then turn to face the house.
Okay.
So that I can be on the other side of Kerr.
Got it.
Can you also be at the ready when that happens?
Hey, Jim, we have a late addition in O'Hara at the bottom. He should have gotten his player's character as well.
Okay, do we have O'Hara in the room?
Yes, I see him.
Can he unmute and tell me which character he is? Or she, I shouldn't assume. It's kind of awesome to have 2 women playing.
Have fun.
Just looking into my my video broadcast chat, no, we are not going to form a flying V formation. I don't think, anyway.
It's a line right.
Yes. I want to grab O'Hara. Is O'Hara's mic open?
Yeah, I hear it now.
Yes, let me block myself.
And just so I'm clear, I'm just waiting to hear from O'Hara so I can figure out which character because you said that he got a character sheet.
I think so. O'Hara, did you get one?
I hate this iPad interface. Here we go.
Hey, Jim, I don't think Walt got one, so you can just assign him one quickly, and we can just keep moving.
Okay, what I'm gonna do? I gotta again have you send that over to him, Sebastian. Because I don't want to put it in the text necessarily.
Yeah, no worries.
Let me.
Gentlemen.
Hello.
Gentlemen, Walter Harry here. I had every plans on attending, but my wife texted me and said we're suddenly having company tonight.
Oh,
which wasn't something I planned on, and was the reason why I didn't go with her down to the winery today. So now we've got company, and I have to clean up real fast. So I may not be able to attend. My deepest apologies. It was not my intention, but I wasn't consulted. So,
life happens.
Yes, it does. So I'll tune in, hopefully when there's a moment to see how things are going, but I won't interfere directly. I'll just watch. So.
And if you want to be really saucy, you can find me on YouTube. It's the same name. I'm on YouTube, and you can actually watch what's happening to these poor people.
You can watch that afterwards, right?
Yep, we'll have that set up. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, if he gets bored with the company who've come, I mean, he can certainly watch us struggle with this.
Okay. I have a lot of very dear friends who get themselves into real trouble because they want to play a game. They wind up going to a wedding. One of them's watching right now, and they wind up getting caught watching it and chatting on their phones, and their wives yell at them. Yes, or significant others in one case. All right. So Ingmar Bergman, you have moved to the right of Velker, and now we go back, and I ask Private Devlin, what do you do?
I'd like to move to the right as well. Is it possible that I could move far enough to be in the crops?
Absolutely. That would, let me see here. Yes. If you go straight to your right. You can't do it if you go front right, but if you turn hard right, you can go to the crops.
All right, I'd like to do that then at a walk.
Got it. You have reached the very edge of the crops, but you are assuredly in them. Private Law, what do you do?
My apologies. I've forgotten BAR's name.
The holder of the BAR is Private Murphy.
I will be hanging back and laying low with Private Murphy.
All right, so you're going to walk up to where Murphy is.
Yes,
right,
and then I would like to face the direction of the house, which I believe is front right.
That is correct. So, just to situationalize those who are, let's run through the situation right as we get to the end of this round. Sergeant Joe, you're facing front towards the gap in the bocage. Private Murphy, you're facing with the BAR towards the house. You see both Velker and to his right, Ingmar Bergman advancing. And to your right, Audie Murphy, almost immediately is Private Law. You can all see, with the exception of Bergman and Kerr, who don't know this, the other three who have hung back, they can see that Private Devlin has made his way into the weeds. Cool. That's the situation. As we head to the next round, I don't think any of the operational facts have changed in terms of what you can see. Nope, so I'm just going to go through the rounds. Sergeant Joe, what are you doing?
And we're exposed in the open now, right?
Oh, big time, yes. Well, I mean, not from every direction, but certainly you're in the open in respect to the house. If there was somebody in the bocage, yes.
Perfect. So what I'm thinking is I may just crawl up because there's a wall in front of the house.
That wall is a good distance. It's far closer to the house than it is to you. Let's call that 45 yards.
Okay.
How much can you cover on a run and a turn?
If you go and you take off at a run, I was working on walking. And I know what crawling is.
Yeah, I'm looking at my little
11 inch. It's 33 yards. So you can cover half the distance.
Just a thought.
Give or take.
At this point, you may want to cover ground quickly. Just a suggestion.
Ben?
Can we run and drop?
Absolutely.
Oh, actually, then if that's an option, I will run to the front right and then drop.
Is the range of the BAR? What's the range on that? Is it's covering range to the house?
It's unlimited, so it's a heavy
Yes,
weapon. So
as a practical matter, in this game, it's unlimited.
Oh, okay, that's useful. So yeah, then
I can easily cover the house, the crops, or the bocage, depending which way I'm oriented.
Yep.
And you have clear view in all the directions we're exposed when we go out there.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I'll probably be the first guy shot, but that's besides the sergeant. Who usually it's the guy with a radio, but since we don't have a radio, it's the guy with the biggest weapon.
So what I'm thinking is that we just advance, right? With the exception of bar guy, we advance towards house.
Everyone runs and drops.
Yeah, runs. With the exception of bar guy.
All right.
You're a sergeant. I'm a corporal. I don't want to run as far as you run. I think we should run. Is it wrong to think we should stagger when we go?
No, that I think that yeah. I saw something. You're in different positions.
So, Private Velker, you see, what you see is Sergeant Joe heading headlong and stumbling a little bit as he makes his way towards the house. We'll talk about that when it comes to the next round for Sergeant Joe. However, Private Velker, you have the house in front of you, and you've got the fence at about 36 yards, and the house a few yards beyond that. To your immediate right is a long line of trees, birch for what it's worth.
I think I'll also advance forward towards the house.
Okay.
Not running though. So
You're gonna walk it?
Okay. I'd rather walk it. I don't want to get disoriented.
How about you, Corporal Bergman? You were just you were just a little bit behind Kerr when he headed off walking that way.
Right. I'm going to walk, but I'm going to go over to that right front vector.
Okay.
So I'm going to proceed to walk right front, but facing the house at the end of my stop.
Okay. Remember, you turned to your right front in the last round, so you are facing the house dead on. To your right front are those trees as well as the end of the field of crops.
Okay. I'm bringing up my weapon to be ready, and I'm going forward.
Okay. Straight forward at a walk. I assume, correct?
Correct. Yep. Does anybody think that we should put some fire to see what's over there yet, or should we wait and keep it quiet?
Is ammunition unlimited?
Yes.
Then I don't see what the thing is with bar guy firing into the house, firing at the house.
If you're talking about reconnaissance by fire, we could certainly do that. My only concern would be if it's just civilians in the house.
Okay.
I think what we're doing is good, is bounding some part of the squad forward towards the wall, and once they reach the wall, maybe I can bring the bar up to the wall while a group of us go in and clear the house, because the bar, I'm also going to need to cover us in case we start getting shot at from another direction. But I could certainly put rounds in there if you want to direct me to shoot at it. I can put unaimed fire into the house.
Question: are civilians in this game? Are they modeled?
They do not. They are not modeled.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, okay. Well, good. I'll just
yes. Yes. After consulting, we're. I think if the bar man is fine with it, then I think that's a good idea. That's sort of.
And when we get up there, of course, I think, just a couple people, some of us should hold back and just a few should go check what's there.
Unlimited ammo with a weapon that won't jam against a target with no civilians. What more could I ask for?
Refill.
Yep. All right. So what we're doing here then is I'm asking the bar gunner, what are you doing? You're next.
Well, I have been directed by my squad leader to put some aimed fire on the house. Well, and that's, I guess, my question. If I don't have somebody shooting at me, I guess it's unaimed fire, right? It's just
Correct.
suppressed
You can't.
fire.
You can only do the suppressive fire. The problem you've got is that right now where you stand, Sergeant Joe and Velker are both in your arc of fire.
Ooh, okay. I guess.
Hold fire then maybe. Maybe we get closer.
Yeah, if there's somebody in my line of sight, I don't want to be pulling the trigger. I guess I want to wait for them to get to the wall so I can move up. They can cover me while I'm moving up.
Sounds good.
I mean, I could start running also with the bar, but I'm not. None of us, it looks like are gonna make it to the wall in the first move. Is that correct?
Both of you have a reasonable. Kerr and Joe have a reasonable chance of getting to the wall, depending whether they walk or run.
How about me? If I run, can I make it to the wall?
Not this turn.
Okay, then I should probably wait till there's somebody there who can shoot into the house before I start moving. I would.
Right.
So I'm going to hold up. I mean, that's kind of standard Overwatch, fire maneuver type stuff.
Got it. How about you, Devlin?
I'd like to orient myself front right and move to the trees. But can I hide behind a tree?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to do that then.
The line of trees is actually to your front left.
Oh, front left. Okay.
Yeah, but you could certainly see them from where you're standing. So you're going to orient front left. You're going to walk through the crops on your way to the trees.
Yes.
Got it. You're still very much in the crops, but you're getting pretty close to those trees. How about you, Private Law?
So one, I'm fairly positive bocage is similar to crops. So I'm going to go to the front right, and I'm gonna. Do I have to give a yardage?
Nope. It's best you don't.
All right, I'm gonna walk to the front right.
Okay, to your front right, where you're positioned, remember, you turn to the front right to face the house. To your front right is the crops. To your front left is the bocage.
Crops it is.
Crops it is. At a walk?
Yes, please.
You got it. And with your movement, you have made it just like your predecessor visiting the bocage. You have made it to the very edge of them, so you're officially within them. Very good. That's the situation. Let me give you a little bit of... Go ahead.
Jim, can I just ask a quick question? So
Sure.
Crops, these generic crops we have,
Yes.
those are more for concealment, whereas the bocage has both cover and concealment.
That's correct.
Protection from direct fire if you get behind it.
Just so.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to go over here, and I'm going to tell you, Sergeant Joe, the way you're situated, you are facing the wall. The house is now to your front left. The line of trees is to your front right. Directly ahead of you is Private Kerr, and directly to his right and to your front right is Corporal Bergman. Private Kerr, you are facing directly at the house. To your right is the wall. It's very close. It's actually a T-shaped wall. You're near the top T of the crossbar, and the part that's the bottom half that runs along the front of the house is directly ahead of you. Private Bergman, you're over the top of that T-bar, a little bit to the right of Kerr, so you see pretty much the same thing he does. You're just a little farther away. Law, as I said, you have entered the crop fields, and Devlin, you are near the very edge of the crop fields at a slight angle to the run of those trees, which now stand between you and the house. And I've already described for Murphy what's going on. So,
the house is still straight in front of me?
I'm sorry, you are?
Bergman.
Affirmative.
And to my right is...
To your right is the line of trees.
Okay.
All right. So, Sergeant Joe, what you doing?
Perfect. I think the house is now to my front left.
Yes.
And the wall is also to the front left.
Yes, it's also ahead of you as well. Like I say, you're almost facing dead on the crossbar at its edge. So you're
Okay.
facing the crossbar, and then the wall runs down to your left.
Perfect. If other people think this is a good idea, given my weapon, I can crawl up to the crossbar, right?
Sure.
Can I crawl up to the crossbar and then shoot inside the house?
No, it's one or the other. It's each one of those things is exclusive of the other.
Okay, perfect. Could I walk, take cover behind, walk, and then with part of myself, covering behind the wall and then shoot?
No, again, it's all exclusive. You're walking, you're shooting, or you're walking or you're shooting, basically.
Okay. I think that it would be best for me to. What do other people think?
Boss, I would suggest you order somebody else to go do the dirty work.
Okay, perfect.
We need you as squad leader. While I admire your bravery in going up to the door or windows yourself, you may want to get somebody else to do that.
Yeah, and some of the people who are already at the wall can shoot into a house. I will probably then crawl up to wall and take cover behind it because there's no use in me recklessly injuring myself.
Crawl. So you're because crawling, as you might anticipate, is very slow.
So could I walk and then take cover behind the wall?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I'll walk and then take cover behind wall.
All right.
Quick question.
Yes.
If you walk and take cover by the wall and someone hucks a grenade over there,
Mm-hmm.
what does he get fragged or what happens?
Well, it's not that granular a combat system, but if there's somebody in there inclined to chuck a grenade, he can chuck a grenade at him.
Then I should. Oh. Where I am, could I walk over to the bocage?
At that point, remember, that bocage is now hard to your left. So you're essentially walking in front of the side of the house.
Okay, no, that's not worth it then. I guess I'll just walk up and then take cover behind the wall.
All right. You are walking slightly front left just to clear that T-bar. And you are now nestled in the crook of the T, if you know what I mean. You are there. Private Kerr, you are staring straight at the building. The wall, as I say, is betwixt you and there. And you have G.I. Joe. You have G.I. Joe between you now and the house. The wall continues a good deal to your front left. I would say you estimate it to be about 10 yards across, the whole bottom part of the T. And you have right behind you to your rear right, almost to your rear, Corporal Bergman. What do you do?
What is my...
Sorry, that's me, I think.
Sorry, it is. You're right. I'm sorry.
Private Kerr, yeah.
Move to the front right. I believe there should be the wall, at least part of the wall, and then crouch behind the wall.
Yes. So you are walking essentially across the top of the T-bar.
Yes, I want to get out of the way so BAR guy can shoot the house and kill civilians.
Very good. All right, so there we go. So you're going to stay right. Put you right about there. There it is. All right, go ahead. That takes us to Corporal Bergman.
What is my distance to the house?
30 yards. As the crow flies, there's a wall between you and it.
All right. I am going to ask a quick question of G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe, do you think I go half the distance and drop, or should I fan out to the right?
Down to the right or half a distance, then drop. And going to the right, you go to
The trees, more or less, right?
Yeah, your hard right is the trees, exactly. You are right next to them.
We shouldn't have... Go ahead.
What did you say?
I'm not sure we should, I don't know if there's any points or if there's any real value. The value of a commander in this game wasn't explained to us. If it gives us an advantage in an attack or if
it
there's
doesn't.
any... Okay. So we're basically all just players with different titles, but we're all about equally valued. The only difference is one is a stronger weapon. Correct?
It also has to do the real key never to forget is each of you have different levels of motivation.
Okay.
Okay. Then I guess go go forward and then drop if you're willing to do that. So we can
half the distance and drop.
Yeah,
half the distance and drop. Well, that basically hits the wall right behind where your good friend Kerr is, and you're under cover there. Got it. Murphy?
All right. So I'm still. Is there anybody in my way to the house
No,
now?
there's not.
If my sergeant wants me to put a few rounds into the house to see if we get response, reconnaissance by fire,
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to do that.
All right.
If it's news to anyone else, yes, I think that's an excellent idea.
Are there any friendly? Can we link up with any friendlies in here, or it's all Germans all the way?
As far as you know, it's all Germans.
We're on
So
a
the other-
patrol, so we should be out in front of friendly lines. All right. Well, let's a little bit of unaimed fire. Let's, of course, once we do this, bad guys are going to hear gunshots. They're going to know where we are. So,
Would we wait? One question: would we rather a grenade, or would someone make an argument one way or the other?
well, a grenade will only land outside the house.
Okay.
I can shoot into the windows and doors and see if we get a response. I would
Right.
think at this, I would almost think by this point the bad guys would have started shooting at us if we're as close as the wall.
Yep.
But if we want to, take a few shots into the windows and doors, I can kind of do some reconnaissance by fire here.
And Jim,
Yep.
if the barman is giving suppressive fire into the house
Mhm.
or unnamed fire, would that mean the people inside the house are suppressed?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
It's a die roll. If there's somebody in there, and if you hit them, or if I judge that you can hit them, if there's somebody in there, and you hit them, they might be suppressed. Yes.
I think that might. I think that's kind of valid. I think that's a decent idea. Yeah.
Shoot at them.
Yeah. Shoot at it.
Blaze.
I'm rolling a die. Wish you could hear it. Firing goes into the house. Very good. There's much shooting. And in fact, Private Law, you just heard that straight behind you. Murphy open up with that BAR as you're making your way into the crop. So what do you do?
Hopefully she knows the sound of the BAR, so she knows it's me shooting.
She does.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, she probably whipped her head around and said, "Oh God, it's you again." Okay.
Yes, oh God, it's you again. And I would like to waffle into the crops a little more and lay low.
All right. So, I'm just walking on in there. For what it's worth, as you're coming up behind, you have sort of walked behind Private Devlin, who is facing straight at, like I said, at an odd angle to those trees. So Private Devlin, you too heard that BAR go off. You saw it pepper the side of the building that's off to your front left, past the trees, past the wall. What do you do?
I would like to drop and watch. I can do both at one time.
You certainly can. All right, so you're going to peer out. You're going to watch this fight over here. Got it. Absolutely. Very cool. All right. So now that we've got the system, now we get to the fun part, where you all have to tell me what you're doing, and I execute it simultaneously. You now see the rhythm, so you can't take advantage of each other's, the flow of the battle. So now the trick is stay out of each other's way. So you're going to tell me what you're doing, and I'm only going to execute it after we go through everybody. You're going to hear what you're doing, don't get me wrong, but you've got to think about it individually, and I'm going to resolve it simultaneously in the fashion of an umpire. So away we go. Let's call this...
we hadn't coordinated our assault yet, so
that's true.
We lost that opportunity.
That's now, well, like I say, it's about, if now, for example, Joe, Bergman, and Kerr are close enough to communicate easily with each other. Joe and Murphy aren't. That's a lot of yelling and hand pointing.
Okay.
In other words, if you want me to move up, you got to wave me up.
Yep. So, with all that, and he's got to take that time to do that.
Now we need him in spot in case someone pops. It sounds like there's a lot of stuff going on.
So Joe, you're behind the wall. You are crouched behind the T of that wall, and you have heard the BAR open up into the building. What are you going to do this turn?
Okay. And is anybody to my left?
Nope.
And the wall still goes to my left.
The wall goes to your left, and it's snug to your right.
Okay, perfect. I think I should crawl along. If I crawl along it to the left, that won't obscure my ability to communicate with others.
Nope.
I think then, and I can't ask other people.
Yep, you're going to turn to your left and crawl?
Yeah, turn to my left and crawl along the wall.
Got it. Bergman, what are you going to do?
I don't want to stick my head up yet, but I don't want to waste the opportunity. If I throw a grenade over the wall, am I safe to? No one's going over the other side of the wall. I'm safe to do that without hurting the team.
Nobody around that. The question is, can you put it through a window safely? That's going to be a tricky throw.
Worth a try.
Sure. I'm not objecting.
Okay.
All right, that's what you're going to do. Very good. Kerr, what are you going to do?
I'm going to move to my, I guess my front right, I believe, just kind of along the wall, towards the end of the wall, but still behind the wall.
All right, so that's actually a very short distance straight ahead of you. I mean, that's, gosh, let me check the scale here. That's probably less than little bit under 4 feet, 5 feet from the edge of the wall, straight ahead. But that's fine. That's what you can do.
Okay. I can't take any other action.
Correct.
Then I'm going to do that.
All right, got it. How about you, Law?
I would like to lay low.
Got it. Devlin?
I'd like to continue just watching.
Watching. Murphy?
Okay. I fired some rounds in. There's been no response. So I'm just going to take it upon myself to run towards the wall so I can reposition. Now, I'd like to get near the end of the wall.
Yes.
So the end closest to me, so I can reposition on either side depending on where fire comes from. So if the fire comes from the house, I can shoot into the house. If it comes from behind us or somewhere else, I can get on the other side of the wall side closest to the house so I can shoot out. But for now, I'm just going to run up so I can shoot into the house.
And you're going to run?
I am going to run.
All right.
Because we are all out assaulting a house from which we have seen no enemy action and taken no enemy fire. So we're just practicing assault tactics right now on potentially an empty house.
Actually, I misheard. That's the reason why, because I misheard that he was talking about gunfire with your gunfire. But I was hearing that we got gunfire back. That's why I threw a grenade.
Okay, no, there was no gunfire back.
Right, I can't retract the move. It's done.
Sure. Well, no, you can. I mean, if it was based on false information, I'm fine with that.
All right, then I would go. Someone's got to go over the wall. I would go over the wall and go down to see what's on the other side.
Okay, and forgive me, you're Bergman, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, so you're gonna go over. You're gonna jump the wall and see what's. Got it. All right.
And lay down flat, so if anyone it's dangerous.
Yeah, but run or walk. That's the real key.
Run.
Okay, now this is the part where I got to move everybody, sorry. Okay, what if I told you that you are confident, Bergman? You are absolutely confident that you can get to that door in a single sprint. What do you do if you get to the door?
Does that include opening it?
Yep.
I'm going to ask the team what they think about it.
And you've already thrown a grenade?
He has not.
No, I have not. I retracted it. The grenade was based on my false understanding that we took fire.
Oh. I guess then, since there's nobody, I think then running to the door. If we haven't taken any fire. Yeah, then I think, I don't know if anybody else has a critique of that, but yeah, if we're just doing that and we're moving up, and yeah, I think that's not the worst thing in the world.
All right. Any objections?
Yeah, having somebody take a peek in one of the windows is probably not a bad idea. Very carefully take a peek in one of the windows. I wouldn't go pounding on the front door, but taking a look inside and just seeing if there's anybody in there, because we've got a lot of houses to clear between here and Berlin, and it's going to take us a long time if we're not getting shot at.
Got it. All right, so I'm just going to pop up and look in the window if I can.
All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to come over. Okay, where you are, you have windows to the if you are looking straight ahead. To your front, there's a window right next to the door. To your front left, there are 2 windows on that face of the building. Which one you want? You can get to either.
The one away from the door, so if I find someone, they can't get to me right away.
All right, so you want to look in that window, okay?
I have a quick question
Go
just
right
for
ahead.
the school. What if someone shoots you through the window? Like, is there any way to stop that?
Nope.
Okay.
All right. So, that was a good point, actually. Maybe I should just shoot in that window. Sorry, guys.
That's all right. All right. So, what do you want to do?
Shoot in the window.
You're just gonna do just some suppressive fire into the window, basically.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Okay. So, forgive me. I think I got everybody's orders in. Yes. Anybody didn't give me an order? Yeah, that's right. I was executing orders when Bergman wanted me to change them, which is cool. All right. So Bergman's gonna shoot. I'm rolling a die. Out of that window, that very same window,
Oh, shit.
in your direction comes fire.
Am I hit?
That guy can't hit the broadside of a bus the way he just shot.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, so you just saw, and it's at a weird angle too. You're at a slightly oblique angle to the window. So he's just, you see his gun sort of poking out and just trying to jam fire in there. The crazy bit is Sergeant Joe hears the fire. He's been crawling along the wall. He peeks his head up along the wall, and he gets a pretty good look at the guy. He's a Panzer Grenadier rifleman.
Okay.
And he sees him, and he's actually got the clearer shot at the guy. And I would say from where Joe is, even though he's crouched below the wall, he's sighted. But he was responding to Bergman's fire, so that's the way he fired. So he's definitely in there. Kerr, you have made your way to that edge of the wall. Murphy, you're straight ahead of you now are both Bergman and Kerr. You are literally right behind them at a distance of about... looking 15 yards.
But I'm not at the wall yet.
Correct. They are
Okay,
snug.
I need to get to the wall then. My goal is to get to the wall.
Yeah, they are snug to that wall. I'm just giving situation reports,
Okay.
basically. Law, to your left, you heard the fire. Both the suppressive fire of your weapons and the response fire coming from that house. So you know there's somebody shooting in the house. Same thing for you, Devlin, except it's to your front left is where the fire came from. I think that accounts for everybody. So I'm going to go through the turn, but this time let's mix it up. Let's go from the privates up. So let's say Devlin, what do you want to do?
I'd like to orient front left, run to the wall, and drop.
Got it. Law?
I would like to move to my hard right is not a direction. Back right and run.
All right, back right and run, bearing in mind that the house is to the left. Very good. Murphy. Buddy Murphy, what you got?
I'm just going to finish, as I mentioned, I'm just going to finish getting to the wall and get set up there.
Got it.
Aiming in the direction of the house.
Yep. Bergman. Oh, sorry. I said privates. Kerr.
I'm going to. There's the door in front of me.
It's
right?
actually it's off to your. It's almost to your left. It's really really front left, but it's almost to your left.
Kurt, don't forget you can shoot that guy from what he said. If I'm not mistaken, the intel guy
It'd be a tough shot, but yeah, he can see the guy poking his head out is what he can do. The guy with the best shot is clearly Joe.
Yeah.
Would it hurt necessarily if one of us chucked a grenade and then another person, if somebody chucked a grenade as well as shooting?
I'm just gonna do Overwatch and stay there.
All right, so Kurt, you're gonna hang out and do Overwatch. Got it. Bergman.
I'm sorry about that. So in my position, I can't get that guy.
You can. You can see him. You could shoot at him. It's not as direct a shot, but you can definitely shoot him from where you are.
I'm taking a shot.
Got it.
But does it put me at risk to do it? Am I getting
absolutely?
A shot?
He's going to shoot at you. Gotta have to think he's going to shoot at somebody. And now, will it be you? Will it be Joe? I don't know. It depends what Joe does.
He's got a bad angle on me, so I'm going to shoot at him and hope Joe gets him from the other side.
Got it, Joe.
And then with that, I guess, should I shoot at him? I guess if he's already being shot at from one angle, I'll shoot at him as well.
All right, so where you're from, you're gonna shoot at him too. All right, got it.
And and there's also not somebody else on Overwatch.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Kerr is looking out there. He's seeing him. He's looking to see if he sticks his head out. Absolutely.
Oh, perfect. This is
all right. Let me do some. And forgive me, Murphy. Let's see here. Let me take a look there. Murphy's gonna do that.
I should be at the wall by now, right?
Yep. If that was Murphy, the answer is yes.
Yes.
Okay, yes. As a matter of fact, you get to the wall and you are straight up behind Bergman. Again, the three of you are now lined up across the top of the T of this wall. And you are behind Bergman, who's behind Kerr.
I don't like being so jammed together, but if there's going to be a house assault here, somebody will be hopefully moving out from the wall in the direction of the house. So.
Okay. Just moving some people. And forgive me, Devlin, you said you were running?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. All right. So, what happens in the event? The biggest thing, I guess, for the surprise of everybody is right as Murphy comes booking to the north side of the wall, Devlin comes breaking through those trees to the right of both Bergman and Kerr and comes slamming up straight into the wall between Bergman and Kerr. So he is now snug straight into, and he is facing the wall. So he's facing to what is for Murphy, Bergman, and Kerr to their left, although to Bergman it's to the front left. So
you guys are cramping my style.
Joe takes the shot. Patters off the wall, seeming not particularly effective fire, and you certainly didn't hear any German excoriations. Let's see here. And gosh, forgive me. And Bergman, you said you were taking a shot too, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. That brought out some German cursing. There was some definite German cursing that occurred inside that building right as that gun was going to come out. So
someone got wounded.
Yeah, there was some displeasure with that particular situation, and there is no return fire from that window.
All right.
Okay, so let's take it this I don't think anybody needs to be reoriented because I think you all know what you did.
So we should probably space out a little bit in this move.
And then should we coordinate something on, like somebody should like throw a grenade through that window now, or continue?
Agreed. Can I reach the door and chuck a grenade in there from where I am?
Bergman?
Yeah.
Yep. You could.
Should I
do you want to do it through the door, or you want to do it through the window?
Isn't it? You mind me asking? Is the window like he's there and then
there's no glass there? There's no glass there.
Okay, perfect. Then just the window, I guess.
Yes, violence of action right now would be a good thing. I'd put as many grenades through as many windows as we can because we now have proof the enemy is inside.
All right, so I'm grenade through the window. That's my action.
All right, so you're going to run up to the window. Bergman's going to run to the window. Got it. Joe.
Perfect. From where I am, I think, can I grenade a window as well?
You can, but you're going to have to hit that aperture. Okay. Bergman is running up to the window and throwing it through. That's a big difference than trying.
Yeah, Bergman's doing that. Then I don't know what other people think. I feel like I'm just going to go on watch and just if anybody comes out.
Fire in, suppression fire I would do.
Okay, yeah, fires. Would that run the risk of possibly hitting Bergman?
Yes.
Or the other option is targeted fire if he sees something. Can he do that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wait, I can.
Yeah, if that guy's, you can overwatch. If somebody sticks his head up, you can shoot at him. Once you know he's in there, you can do that.
Then I think Overwatch would be Overwatch on that window.
Got it.
Perfect.
Kerr?
I'm going to continue doing Overwatch from that position by the wall.
Thank you. Devlin?
I would like to start crawling along the edge of the wall, but not like completely leave the wall, just so I can hopefully get out of the bundle that we're in.
Okay. To your right or to your left?
To my right. Whichever way is closer to the house.
That's it. Okay. And Law.
How far away from the house am I? Am I allowed to ask? Sorry.
Yeah, that's no worries. I'm looking out over there. I'm saying about 60 yards away.
All right, well, I will orient to the house and lay low.
Okay. I got everybody. And Murphy, forgive me.
Yes, I'm Audi Murphy. Just
still what the heck, right?
My headstone behind me. I just put it up there just to kind of intimidate people. Yeah, thing down there says Medal of Honor. Wait a second. It says Medal of Honor there at the bottom. There, let me turn this. Medal of Honor.
What? Yeah.
I haven't won it yet, but I will. Let's see. I've got the heaviest weapon in the squad. I have nothing to engage right now. I'm trying to think, are there any windows or doors that I can engage while these other guys are throwing grenades through other windows?
You could engage the one that's next to the door in the idea that there's somebody there. You could. I wouldn't recommend putting fire anywhere on that narrow side of the house that's facing you more directly.
Okay, I'll if there's an open window that I can shoot at that's not with anybody else in my line of sight, I'll do that.
Got it.
Because I need action. I need to do something. I've got the squad heavy weapon, and I'm not engaging anything right now.
With Rambo levels of ammo and no braking.
And no braking. That's right.
All right. So let's do it then. All right. I see what Kerr is
doing.
All right. I see what he's doing. Just so I know, Joe, do you want to you're facing currently directly at the bocage with the house to your front left or to your front right? Forgive me. Do you want to reorient to put the house directly in front of you?
Hey, guys, we're getting some sass in the comments. At 6:29, Sebastian was saying that we'd lost perspective to each other. So we should regroup after whatever we do with the house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry. Could you repeat that? Because I just after that.
Sure. No worries. You are facing directly at the bocage. You're facing directly at the bocage. The house is actually to your front right. Do you wish to reorient to face it more directly?
Yes.
Got it. All right, I got to check a couple things. Here I go.
And I want to just say to Sebastian that, of course, it's chaos. It's small unit combat.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
He's being Mr. Judgy Pants out there. Is that what he's doing?
I think he's trying to put a level of psychological harassment on it, right?
Is it?
Yes, he's trying to intimidate us.
He's playing the press behind the lines. You know,
That's absolutely awesome. All
he's
right,
giving us fog of war.
And once again, Sebastian, I just want to point out right there, it says Medal of Honor. Okay, so don't mess with me. I'm only a private now, but I'll make major by the end of the war.
All right, so this happens, and we'll do that. That's the easier of the things, to be honest. Got to look at that table.
2 people providing overwatch to that house, right?
That's correct, actually. You've got somebody on the door. Well, first of all, you're going to have somebody shoot the bejeebus out of that door. But yeah, then you're also going to have somebody providing covering fire to the left and to the right. If that be the question.
Okay.
That's what I wanted to know. All right, here we go.
I'll be back. I'm going to be gone for a minute. I'll be right back.
Got it. Going to die. Okay. And then that. Yep. Oh, there it goes. All right. All right, so what happens? What do you see? At least those that can see. I got to get, and I've also got one more thing. Sorry. Go ahead.
All of us except Devlin are kind of in a general area close to each other, right?
Yeah, well, actually, no. It's a law that's not near you.
Law is off, like chilling in the trees.
Yeah, in the weeds. Yeah, in the wheat. Wind in the wheat. Okay, so Bergman runs up to the window, chucks the grenade through the window, and it explodes at the far side of the building. However, when the gunfire from Audie Murphy fires into the building, I gotta tilt him to get that done, and it patters all over that door, you suddenly hear a voice from inside, Nick Sheeson! Nick Sheeson! So I'll leave it to you to decide what to do next.
Okay. Can you say over? I heard my name mentioned.
Sure, I'll run it through again. Bergman.
German said no shoot.
Yeah, and yes, the German yells don't shoot. Because Bergman came up, threw the grenade through the window. It bounced somewhere at the back of the building. However, once the fire from Audie Murphy came through, struck the door, you suddenly heard the cries of, don't shoot, don't shoot.
So I presume there are multiple Germans in the house. Is that a fair assumption to make? I want other people's commentary on that.
Well, I don't necessarily know, because that could have been the same one that got winged the last turn. So
Is surrendering a thing in this?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
We don't go in. We tell them to come out.
Yeah, I think then that's a good thing.
Okay. All right, very good. Well, to move the story along and to avoid because the way the time is moving, we get through the situation. This situation ends with the single occupant of the house coming out and surrendering. He is, as I say, a Panzer Grenadier Rifleman who was initially wounded and then was wounded again, he would relate to you, by the fire of Audie Murphy. So he's calling out to surrender. So you keep your positions. He is surrendered off. I am marking him as sort of a victory point, but he really doesn't count that way. And so you keep your situations with respect to the house as you move to whatever else you want to do after this. I guess what I'm saying at the end of the day is this house is clear.
Good.
Cool. Good. Then
Time to brew up some coffee.
Yeah.
Is that in one of the commands? Is that one of the orders?
Yeah.
So stop and take a break. Have a C-wrap.
Just just to orient, Bergman is up facing directly at that window that he threw things through. Joe is also watching that window that he threw those things through, but he's on the other side of the wall. Kerr is at the far part of the T, facing away. The building is almost to his left again, and then Devlin has crawled up on the wall almost directly behind Kerr, and Audie Murphy is at the opposite side of the top of the T from Murphy, facing the building. And never forget, facing in the direction of the building directly to his front, O.H. Law, deep in the weeds.
Is vision a thing? Could you say send somebody up into is it a 2-story or 1-story building?
1-story building.
Oh, okay, 1-story. So it's not like sending somebody inside there.
Right.
Go.
Yeah, I wouldn't have something like that.
Then I'm thinking we reform in some sort of formation and move forward, like just see what's nearby, I think.
What can we see from where we are now?
Well, everything's behind you. I mean, that's the weird thing. You may remember that the house was over to your right once upon a time. And when it was, there was a gap in a long row of bocage that was straight ahead of you with a road past it. That is now behind most of you.
So there's a road behind us, and in front of us we can't see anything.
It's the orienting, in fairness, the road is actually to your left. It's the gap in the bocage that would let you get to that road that's behind you.
And from the house, is there anything of value that we can see from the house here?
There's
just a lone house.
Just a lone house.
And do we have to babysit this guy, or we can just tie him up and leave him in the house?
You're all good.
Oh, perfect.
The game does not require you to take him along.
Okay.
His war is over.
Yes.
Okay, you guys want to go in the bocage? Do you want to go there?
I think I just avoid going to go through bocage.
So why don't you give us a formation? Describe what it is and where we're all standing so we can reorientate, and Sebastian can stop picking on us for not knowing where we are.
There you go.
Okay, perfect. So I all think. Okay, this is confusing. Am I closest to the bocage?
No, actually, the closest is Bergman, but it's just by a slight distance. You have the clearest run at the bocage, but you're both to Bergman. It is to his front left, and to you it is to your hard left.
Okay, perfect. Then if Bergman ran into the bocage, if Bergman just walks towards the bocage, and we all Bergen first, then followed by me, and then the rest of the people can orient themselves behind us.
Sure.
But you're a sergeant in rank, right?
Yes.
So then put distance between us. I normally wouldn't go first, but if you want to send me first, I'll walk first in that direction. Put 2 privates between us, and call up those other 2 privates that are out.
Yeah, the other 2 privates are nearby. They can.
Okay.
Yeah, you need to be where you can control the formation best, which is usually about the center of it. That way, if we have a squad, technically we have 2 fire teams. The first fire team you can direct from behind, and that way you can call up the second fire team to maneuver along with the BAR. So I would recommend I stay at the wall facing the bocage and in our direction of travel until you guys clear into the bocage, and then I can catch up.
Perfect. Okay, so we're going to have Murphy stay back and provide overwatch, I presume. We are going to have Laws out of the question. So I presume Bergman can, if Bergman's close by, I presume if you want to, you can walk up and then lay down or just look.
Okay. Yeah, I'll walk up and lay down and just get a look at what's there, and then you guys are coming in behind me?
Yeah, and then Law and Devlin walk in the direction of where Bergman would be?
Well, they've heard what you've said, so now I'm going to hit y'all and say what you want to do, right?
Oh yeah, perfect.
So I'll start from you, Sergeant Joe. Where are you going?
I will walk in the direction of the bocage, but behind Bergman.
All right, Bergman, where are you going?
I'm walking down straight ahead into the bocage.
All right, that actually.
And then dropping down.
All right, so we're going to go straight to the
Really get a piece
bocage. Straight ahead of you at 7 inches. Doesn't take you that long. You hit the bocage. Got it. I got to now check everybody else. Audie Murphy, what are you doing?
So I am behind the wall facing out towards the bocage.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm on the house side of the wall.
Exactly.
My understanding.
Well,
Facing
no,
towards
you're on the far side of the wall. The T of the wall is between you and the house.
Oh, okay. Then I need to reposition so I can cover both the bocage and any other potential areas of threat, anything away from the house, because
Okay.
we've already cleared the house.
Okay.
But mainly the bocage where they're moving into. I want to be able to wherever they're entering. I want to be able to cover on both sides of that.
Got it. So what we're going to say for that is going to be a move forward and then turn to your left. So you're facing the bocage, essentially. Devlin.
Is that Bergman that just moved to the bocage?
He will. That was Murphy. I'm
Murphy.
sorry. That actually moved. Bergman has indicated he's going to move to the bocage. Joe has indicated he's going to move to the bocage. Murphy has indicated he's going to move forward and then turn to face the bocage. And now it's you.
Okay. I'm assuming I'm on the edge of like the T wall.
You are.
So I would like to move to the bocage as well. So I guess turn front.
You're actually. It's actually to your left.
Oh, because it's oriented towards me. Yeah. Turn to the left.
Mm-hmm.
Hard left. Walk forward and see if I can stop before I get to the bocage around maybe like where the house is.
Sure. Okay, that's a walk. Good. Kerr, what you doing?
I'm going to turn to my left and move behind Bergman and Sergeant towards the bocage, but I want them between me and the bocage.
Very good.
Very specifically.
Yeah, I get that. How about you, Private Law?
Hi, so first and foremost, I, Lexi, will be signing off. Second of all, Private Law will be remaining in the crops and is lying so low. Just imagine that he is dead.
Oh, my goodness. Very good.
What happened?
Well, thank you. Well, Law is basically leaving the squad for all intents and purposes.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do appreciate it.
Guys, I'm going to take a 1 second head break. That's okay?
All right.
Thank you.
All right, so let me do my moves. I got that one. I got Joe. Murphy. Doing all these moves. And everybody's walking. I get it. All right, well, here's what we see. Bergman, you are snug up against the bocage. You are in it. To your left is G.I. Joe, who almost made it to the bocage. He's very, very, very close. Private Velker, as promised, you are behind both Bergman and Joe. Joe is to your front left, and Bergman is almost directly in front of you. Murphy, managing the BAR. Joe is to your front right. Bergman is to your further front right, but still, Joe is closer to your front, and Kerr is hard to your right. And it's a whole lot of bocage straight ahead of all members of the squad.
I'm sorry, where am I, Devlin?
I'm sorry, Devlin, as directed, you are behind Velker. He is to your front right, and then to your almost to your hard left, Audie Murphy.
I'm back. What did I miss?
Let's see here. I'm sorry.
Bergman's back. Bergman's back.
Bergman's back. Thank you, Bergman. Bergman, you are snug up against the bocage with Sergeant Joe to your near hard left. He just didn't quite make it to the bocage, and you've got Velker behind you.
Now, in this position, we have to go forward, straight forward. Is pretty much the limited scope of action where we can go from the bocage to the road.
Well, the problem is you can't get through the bocage. You're going to have to get through that gap.
And the gap is in relation to where I am right now.
To your left.
Right, left.
It's to your left.
And how many yards?
A little over 30.
So I can run over there and be there, or walk over there and be there in the turn.
Yeah.
All right, that'll be my action.
Perfect.
Joe?
I will move towards the gap, but go behind Bergman with enough space so that somebody else could, private could come in front of me.
Got it. Devlin.
I would like to go front right to the bocage, but as far right as possible, so I'm like as far away from everyone else as possible.
Got it. Velker?
I would like to move to my front left towards the gap in the bocage.
Mm-hmm. All right. And Murphy?
So they are all into the bocage by now?
No, they're not. G.I. Joe is slightly ahead of you, a little bit to the right, and he is almost in the bocage. To your true front right, Bergman is in the bocage. The others are to your right and right rear.
Okay. I'm going to, until the last person is almost into it,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to maintain my position.
Got it. So, Sergeant Joe, this involves you turning to your left.
Yes.
Bergman, this involves you turning to your left. And I believe, Bergman, you said you were going to walk, correct?
Yeah, I want to reach that gap and then drop when I get there.
Yeah, you're not gonna make it at a walk.
Run.
Oh, at a run. Sorry.
In what way is time a factor for us? Because we were talking about timing before.
Oh, just in terms of whether or not, I know the game was scheduled for 2 hours. We're obviously running a little long. That's it.
Got it.
Hey, in terms of the time limit, as long as you guys are okay with it, you guys can run a little long.
Okay. All right.
And our objective is to get to the other side of the map.
Exactly.
Outside of all of our other. And by going through that gap, we're going to get closer to that, right?
That's correct.
Okay, good. I am. Okay.
How far will we be from at that point? Once we get to the gap?
It's
still got a long way to go.
It's a long way to go. I wouldn't say. I'll let the cat out of the bag and say you've got one other tactical situation to deal with. How's that?
Oh, okay then.
So we don't want to go into a run at this point.
Yeah, unfortunately, my problem is I've got a 7 o'clock commitment, so I got to go about 6:30. But this is so much fun. I want to do this. You guys are great players. All right, Velker. I know what you told me.
Can we see through the bocage at all, or is it too thick?
It's too thick. It's too thick. You've got to really get inside it and push. You could if you did nothing else. What I'm doing for you, Private Kerr, is I'm moving you at a front left, and then I'm turning you left so that you're following along the line of the bocage. And
That's
you
good.
are now behind Sergeant Joe. And now
Just where I want to be.
Devlin to the front right, moving away from the rest of these crazy people. Turning you to the front right. And then you're going to snug to the bocage, so you're there you are a good, 25 yards from Velker, who is now marching along the bocage to your left. So, Audie Murphy, you have achieved your goal. You now see to your front left Corporal Bergman leading towards the gap. Behind him, Joe. Behind him, Kerr. Over to your front right, Devlin staring into the bocage. And you are, of course, staring straight ahead at a right angle to the bocage.
Okay.
Sebastian.
So, I'm just thinking. I want to be able to. I don't want to lag too far behind, but if they are now making their way in good order, I should at least start walking in their direction behind them.
Okay.
To make up the least. I don't. Okay. I'll run to catch up.
Well, we'll see. So I would actually start at the front just because that's the point. Bergman, what are you going to do?
Okay, I'm reading the side notes here, the fog of war or the harassment stuff that's coming in. Someone's saying something about a tank. So Sebastian's talking about a tank in the chat room. So I'm watching our intel over here.
You neither smell the smell of diesel nor hear the rumble of engines.
Okay, so I'm looking at, have I made it to the gap and can I see what's down the gap?
Yes, you can. Straight ahead, the gap runs about, the gap in the bocage is about 20 feet across.
Okay.
7 yards, 7 yards. Just beyond it, as I said, is a road. And as you peek your head around to the right, there is the road gap is about 15 feet across that road, and almost directly across from where you're peeking, there is another gap in the bocage of about 15 feet.
All right, so I just want to reorientate. Looking down the gap, there's about 20 feet down
The gap
there.
itself is about 20 feet, correct.
So we got to run down a line 20 feet, and then to the left or the right.
No, you're peering around a corner essentially.
Okay.
So you could immediately hook into the bottom half of the gap, right? It just goes 20 more feet ahead of you.
Okay.
So you could hit a hard right turn and be in the gap, and then just go forward.
Am I the closest person, or can a private go forward into the gap?
You're the closest person.
What does the team want me to do?
Well, can we also see up and down the road?
Not from where you are.
Okay. I think you need to get in a position so you can see up and down the road.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. And then we can restock from there.
And then we can discuss crossing.
Yeah.
Should I crawl into that gap so I keep a low profile? We'll get a look to what's going on. Or
How much of a distance is there between where Bergman is and road?
10 feet.
Oh, yeah. Then I think if anybody, I think crawling would be a smart idea then.
That's what I'm going to do is crawl in. I'll go check out and see what's up there for everyone.
All right. So, Joe, you're going to hang back and wait for that? Or you want to follow him?
I will hang back and so is it just open grass? There's no concealment?
At this point, no. The best concealment you've got is this bocage to your right.
One private should be close enough to me that they can see what's going on if I get hit.
Yeah, we should move up. If we're only private now, as almost dev would be like if we put up.
Well, you've got Velker. Velker is right behind you, Joe.
I guess if Velker was going to move up there and also crawl out and lay in some relationship to Bergamo or Bergman.
Wow, you've been really cavalier with my life.
just somewhere where you can see what's going on with me. So if I get hit, you know what happens.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess. Meat shield.
And then I will move up to the corner.
Okay.
And provide overwatch.
Okay. So what are you doing, Kerr?
I am moving forward behind Bergman, and he's going to the right, right?
Yeah, he's going to hook around to his right.
I'm going to hook around to the right as well, but just stay behind him and then come to a crouch.
Got it. Audie Murphy?
Good question. We all don't want to crowd into this gap. I guess I'm gonna just get into a crouch where I can put heavy weapons fire across the road into the gap on the other side at this point. I'll move up close. I don't want to be in the gap along with everybody else, but I need to be able to position myself so I can at least shoot across the road into the other side.
Okay.
Not sure exactly. It sounds like we're getting kind of crowded now.
You are.
which makes it dangerous. So I'll hang back some, but it may even be hard. I don't know if I hang back, will I have a clear field of fire?
You won't.
I won't. Well, I guess I won't. I guess what I'll do is I'll turn around and face the rear in case so nobody sneaks up behind us.
All right, straight enough.
Yeah, rear area security until we figure out what's going on the road.
Devlin.
Can I push through the bocage?
Yes.
Okay, so I'd like to crawl through the bocage until I'm almost at the road, but I'm still like inside the bocage.
All right. Awesome.
Oh, sorry. I'd also, if I can, like to orient myself left so I can see what the other members of my squad are doing.
Got it. You're going to lose sight of them when you're in that bocage. I mean, you're tearing
Okay.
up some serious roots. I mean, some of these suckers are 1,000 years old.
Okay.
You know, so you're going to ground for real. All right, I'm doing it.
So. And I'm behind the bocage as a Joe.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my own self-preservation support.
I get it. So I gather. Okay. All right. So you Ingmar are getting a pretty good vista here. To your, let's see, let me map this out. The road, as I said, goes across, let's call it 15 feet. The road to your left and to your right has there's nothing there. There's nothing there. However, the bocage across the road is pretty torn up to your front right and a little further front right. A lot of damage to the bocage in those two areas. Long sections, better part of 30 yards, have really been ripped up. The bocage to your left is a solid wall. Straight ahead of you, let's call it 60 yards, there's a stand of trees. That's to your front. Also to your front and a little bit to the right, there is a house. A little more elaborate, although not of such strong construction as the hut you were in the last time. Single-story frame house at 60 yards.
Torn up, do you mean, does it look like tank tracks, or what does it look torn up like?
It's just damaged.
All right.
From
my suggestion is if we need to get across this, obviously we do it slowly, but we may have to send 2 people across first and then one at a time after. Because once the first two getting across will surprise if anybody's covering the road. The first 2 just kind of sprinting across will probably surprise them. And after that, one at a time, they're going to have to decide whether or not they want to engage one at a time. But that's just a suggestion.
All right, can I run it across, drop?
Absolutely.
All right, give me a run and a drop and find me a friend to run with me.
Spoken like a gentleman. All right, so you're going to... so to your front right is that damaged bocage that would be easier to traverse. To your front left is the solid bocage. It's almost like you're at the top of a regular triangle between the two.
Is that high ground, better shooting advantage where I end up?
It's level from that perspective. It would be better cover to your left, easier to traverse to your right.
I think better coverage is probably... Well, no, because from the right I can get back to the house if I need to attack the house, right?
That's correct.
So I'll stay right.
All right, so you're going to go
drop
right.
when I'm over there.
Got it. Velker?
I am going to, I guess, am I still behind the wall or am I?
You're behind the bocage, yes.
Okay, I'm going to go to my front left to the bocage on the left across the road.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you get there, I'm going to run across to there.
Got it. Joe?
I am going to provide Overwatch or I could provide Overwatch over Bergman.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll do that because you're crossing.
Glad to know someone's got me covered.
Yeah.
Definitely not me, though. Definitely not.
Murphy.
I need to be able to get in there to be able to shoot up and down the road
Mhm.
in one direction or the other. I don't know if I should get guidance from my squad leader here where he wants me to position. Because we want the heaviest weapon able to cover, open fields of fire. And, I'll go wherever he tells me to go. I'll run up and cover either left or right up and down the road. I can be in a prone position and do that. Any suggestions?
So, the only person who's really at risk of taking fire right now is Bergman. The rest of us are all some sort of cover, right?
So I should probably cover that house.
Yes, you need to be able to cover that house in some.
Should you lay fire into that house that's moving, or
Well, he's got to get to be able to see it.
So I guess
How far out do I have to get to be able to see it? I'll get wherever I need to get.
If that's your goal, you could be, they'd be yelling back at you. Here's that house. Here's that house. You're about 24 yards, 27 yards from the gap. Once you get into that gap, you're able to see it.
Okay, so I should run up to the gap and get prone in the direction of the house.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect. And then
Devlin. Brewing mightily.
Yeah, so I have to hop off to pick up my younger brother, so you can assume that I tripped in the bocage and I'm out.
You're in a big burrow. Well, thank you so much for playing. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for hosting.
All right. Okay. All right, so what happens? Joe comes around, provides covering fire as Bergman crosses to the damaged bocage at the front right. Kerr crosses to the bocage at the front left. Murphy comes around to get a view, and now straight ahead of him is the house. You are all facing, I think you all are, yep, directly at it. Bergman, where you're standing, fire erupts from that house.
Uh-oh.
Go ahead.
Sorry. What are my choice of actions? I can throw a grenade in that window. I can shoot in that window. Or I could run.
Well, first of all, their shoot. This is sort of their opportunity fire.
Okay.
So it's going to come down to the next round. I just got to check what they're shooting with. I can't believe.
And Bergman's lying prone.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Good. We just want to make sure Bergman's okay.
Thank you, sir.
That's considerate of you. I forgot to check what type of bloody weapon that is. It is. Okay.
Hopefully it's not an MG42.
Yeah.
I have a whole different die roller for that, would you believe?
I can imagine.
Terrifying.
That one's for the woes watching at home. That sounds like this. Anyway. So, yep, that fire got really, really close, Bergman. There's a second shot that follows almost immediately thereafter, but they're both firing rifles.
Oh.
All right, that one, however, that's going to pin Bergman. That's a pin. We haven't even talked about this yet. He can't... Now, it didn't wound him. It pinned him. But he's not able to do anything until he rolls off the pin, which I do for him. Okay? So you may consider Bergman to be essentially out of action. He's running around the ground, screaming a little bit, saying, hey, hello, fellas, whatever that might be under that circumstances. He is now stuck until that pin marker comes after him, so you can't count on him. You did count 2 shots, both coming from the windows of the house that are in front of you. Forgive me. One is from a window, and one is from a door. So he's poking in and out of a doorway. The doorway fire is the less accurate because he's got to jump back and forth. It's essentially suppressive. So with that in mind, with Bergman pinned, Joe, what are you doing?
Okay, so we're going to need, now that we only have 4 people, we really need to talk about this. Oh, we're only 3, really. And the important one here, I think, is...
This is like Lord of the Rings, where you lose people as you get close to Mount Sauron, whatever it is, the evil eye.
So
I know what I'm going to be doing. I'll just tell you right now, I'm just going to be slinging lead at that house.
Okay, yeah. So
Aimed fire.
Aimed fire at that house. Then I think it's for just me and Kerr. So can Kerr, since Kerr is, can Kerr get a shot on the guy or suppress the guy who's at the door?
Yes.
Because he's behind.
Yes.
Doesn't mean I'm going to.
Oh yeah. Okay. If he can. Okay. And Murphy, you are going to be suppressing the window. Aimed fire at the window or suppressive fire at the window?
I'll be aimed fire.
Okay.
I know where they're shooting from. It's aimed fire.
He can see that. Yes.
Yes, I am. Whatever is the heaviest fire is what I'm going to be shooting at.
Okay, perfect. So you can do aim fire at the window. Then I can choose to both hit either the window or the door.
Correct.
Perfect. What should I put suppressive? Does doubling up suppressive and aimed fire?
Well, no, aimed fire for you, if you're going to aim fire at the window, that's an aimed shot, period. If you're going to try to hit the guy in the door, that's going to have to be opportunity fire when he pops his head out, if he does.
Okay. And since the guy from the window is obviously the bigger threat, I will do aim fire at the window as well.
Okay, that's
so we have.
Yep.
And you think that's? I'm just gonna run that by the other people. You think that's a good idea?
Repeat.
We're gonna have two. Me and Murphy are gonna be giving aim fire at the window, while Kerr, if he so chooses to, will suppressive fire at the door, because the aim fire guy is actually getting aim fire back at Bergman.
Sounds logical.
All right, so I'm going around for orders. I know what Murphy's doing. Joe, what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna be providing aimed fire at window.
Okay. Kerr?
I'm going to do Overwatch. I'm just gonna stay there.
All right, you're gonna overwatch the situation. All right, that's it. I think I accounted for everybody. Let's first check on Bergman, see how he's feeling.
Get me out of that spot.
You're crawling around, but you're not inclined to move, unfortunately. Let's do some lead throwing. Murphy.
They're getting us some morale there. They're trying to do the German slaps in the back.
That's all right.
Now the U.S. the 3rd Infantry Band shows up.
The high he, you say.
I wish we had some field artillery. I would just drop it all in the house and run across the road.
Yeah,
and we've had done with that nonsense. No, absolutely.
That's right.
All right.
forgot our
We don't even have a mortar team. Never mind field artillery. Got nothing.
Okay, so that's
How far we can throw a grenade is our indirect fire.
All right. The fire goes out into the buildings, both at the door, because he does poke his head out, and at the rifleman. When the fire comes out through the door, it clearly strikes the guy at the door, and he ducks back. He does not, however, go down.
Oh.
And he ducks back. The rifleman, however, appears to be unaffected, and now fires over that way. And the bullets patter in the bocage and the dirt right around Velker. So they patter over here. So again, the bar fire hits the windows, patters all around, but the guy still fires out at Velker. The guy pops out the door and is struck by Joe. However, he ducks back, and Bergman remains pinned. So, next turn, what are you going to do? Let's run through it. Joe.
Perfect. So, Velker, my shot missed, I presume.
The guy ducked back.
Okay, so both of our shots missed. I presume if Murphy continues. Okay, now he's firing at Murphy. Then I presume we should do, me and Kerr will do the same thing. If there's no, and then me and Murphy will do the same thing. Then Kerr can continue to provide overwatch now at the door, not at the window, because the door guy's been hit. Or I don't know what you think.
Well, if we can effectively suppress them, we can continue to rush other folks across the road.
Well, then I guess
they can maneuver towards the house.
I guess then Kerr can move because he's the only person that can move because we're down to 3 people.
But you want me to run across to the house?
And that's the thing, because I think we should just then try what we did again because we have 3 people and we've already hit 1. Does that make sense?
All right, so
I mean, we can be stuck here all day, and they're the ones in the better defensive position. If we can just suppress them enough to get across the road and start maneuvering, what kind of terrain is around the house? I mean, do we have bocage coverage to get up close to the house?
Nope. You're behind the last cover between here and that house.
Oh, geez. Good
Yeah.
Lord. And there's no walls or anything, right?
Nope.
Then maybe we just put enough covering fire to get everybody across. If we get across the road and through the gap, are we out of direct fire then?
Yep. If you get through that gap, it's just a huge field. If you're talking about the first gap or the second one, because there are 2 gaps, because there's 2 rows of bocage. The one, for example, that Bergman is front of, where it's slightly damaged, that's serving as that's the reason that he's not dead, to be quite honest.
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out, where would be the best place for us to get out of direct fire from the house, and we can continue to move.
can anyone close the distance to the door and throw a grenade in? Or is it not doable?
That door from the nearest guy, who happens to be Bergman, who isn't in the mood right now, is 60 yards.
Yeah. You got Bob Feller out there throwing a grenade.
You're all a bunch of fellers.
Yeah.
All right, Joe, what are you doing?
I guess I will continue to aim fire at the window.
Aim fire. Got it.
Yeah.
Kerr?
Is there anything to the left, is there anything in front of me besides the house that we can see?
There's a house, and immediately to your left, to the house's right, is a stand of trees, but it is well back. It's back of the front facade of the house, so it's actually further than the house. If you wanted to go find out anything further around the bocage, you'd have to walk a little bit. And there are people shooting in your direction at the moment.
I'm going to probably stay there unless Sarge gives me the suicide order. Then I'll...
And no, you're not
Then
going to.
I'll try and make it there.
Murphy?
Question is we could sit here and just kind of shoot at the house all day. Is how do we get out of this?
Someone's got to get up to the house and throw a grenade in the window or open the door and do the same. Probably, right?
60 yards is a long way when...
You're right.
Yeah.
And I guess
That's 2 turns of running.
yeah.
Well, who can free me up so I can get from where I am to the door?
That's the thing. If we are able to get 2 people firing and then free up Bergman, then we can have more opportunities. I guess.
That's why I was asking about if there was a way to maneuver out of line of sight so we can't be in direct fire or direct observation.
The way to do it, you could move, in the case of Joe or Murphy, to what amounts to your front left, pretty much behind where Velker is, and there's nobody that can see that right at the moment. The only reason they can see Bergman at all is because that bocage is damaged.
Then I guess I will move to the front left because I don't know what Murphy thinks of this, but he should continue to lay down fire.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I got the biggest weapon and it does the most damage, has the best chance of killing or wounding people in the house. So,
yeah, I guess Murphy can continue to do that, and then I will move up to that position.
Okay.
And then
behind Velker?
Yes, and then make sure to crouch.
Okay. Velker, you told me what you're doing. All right. Let me see if I can get
That would be very helpful.
Improve the attitude of a certain other person. Afraid I can't.
Should have still stuck.
Okay, Private Audie Murphy. Shooting. Oh! That one actually left a body hanging out of a window.
That's because I'm Audie Murphy.
That's
There you go. I see Medal of Honor coming up.
There we go. There we go, right there. Take that, Sebastian. That's what you get for giving me the biggest weapon in the squad. I get results. I wounded the other guy in the other house, killed the guy in this house.
And as Joe is crossing the street, the guy does pop out the window and fire off a shot.
Sebastian's now still dogging me. I can't do anything right.
It does patter in the sand of the road right as he crosses, but he does miss. So, Joe, you are behind. You have the house to your front, the bocage to your front and left. So you're kind of snugged up behind Kerr, who is right at the corner. Murphy, you're still at the edge of the most forward bocage, aiming right at the house where you can see the body hanging out the window. And Bergman, you are pinned facing the house. So you still do have the guy hiding in the door.
There's absolutely nothing I can do, right?
Correct. The only thing they could do is get help from your buddies, passing that along.
Can't throw a grenade, right? No.
No, All you can do is lie low.
Okay.
Which is why nobody's shooting at you.
Do we have a direct shot on the guy? Because the guy in the door is wounded. What effect does wounding have, right?
He's actually, well, I'll let you behind the curtain. He's pinned is his problem.
So, wait, then
if
how
one's
is
dead and one's pinned, we can get across the road. If there's only 2 people in the house, the question is, are there more?
Wait, I'm kind of confused by. So wait, he's pinned, but then how is Bergman pinned?
It's a die roll to get unpinned. I should say when you shot him, you pinned him. He has unpinned himself.
He doesn't want to get up because he's afraid he's going to get shot at again. He doesn't know that there's.
Oh, okay. So can Murphy get a direct shot or get something at the door?
He can fire suppressive at the door. He can't fire direct unless he sticks his head out. He can overwatch the door.
So I think that would be good if Murphy overwatches the door. Or should Murphy come up?
I've got unlimited ammunition. I can shoot anywhere you want.
I guess since you want to be in combat, it's best to shoot. I guess if you want to overwatch the door, and then Kerr and I
slinging lead until that other body gets pulled out and somebody else starts shooting out the window. I'll shoot at the door.
Yeah, and then I presume Kerr and I can also shoot at the door.
It's gonna be one or the other because you got that corner. You can't both have it.
Oh, okay. And there's no difference between our guns.
Correct. No, yours is actually a light weapon. His is a medium.
So then I presume I'll let Kerr shoot at the door.
Okay.
And then I will. Yeah, there's nothing else I can do really.
All right, so that's what you're going to do. You're going to hang out and wait behind Kerr?
Yep.
Got it. Kerr, what are you doing?
Oh, what you wanted me to shoot the door?
Yes.
Sorry, Sarge, that's not going to happen.
That's okay.
I'm sorry, Sarge. That did not happen.
I have full confidence in Private Murphy. Private Murphy does this.
I'll get out of the way so you can shoot.
I tell you what, if you want, I can fire the bar with my left hand and throw grenades with my right and just charge the house right now.
All right,
Rambo.
I used to read Sergeant Fury comic books when I was a kid, and he did it all the time. So
there you go.
I'm actually going to cross to the other side of the gap. So if that's possible, if there's room over there.
There is.
Okay, then I'm going to advance across the gap so Sarge can start shooting. Be a hero, win that Medal of Honor.
And so you're going to turn to your right and advance across the gap. Got it?
Can he crawl across the gap, or does he have to walk?
He can crawl.
Yeah, just for safety's sake.
Oh, let's actually run across that gap.
You're gonna run the gap. Got it.
Yeah.
Run and drop, right? Or
run it, yeah.
Run and drop.
So my favorite part of this story is that in addition to and so Joe, are you going to fire suppressive, or are you going to overwatch the door?
Oh, Joe, yes. I am going to. Is there a difference between fire suppressive? Overwatch means I take an aim shot, while fire suppressive means I'm just firing.
Correct. You cannot knock this person out without aimed fire.
And Overwatch means I have a chance of getting aimed fire.
Correct.
So, and who's you what's it is, and Murphy is already providing suppressive fire.
No, Murphy is. I heard he was Overwatch.
I am providing aim fire already, so I don't know if we need to. I'm not sure how much we want to expend doing that.
Well, I had Murphy overwatching the door too. Basically, if that guy sticks his head out, you guys are both going to fire at him, is the way I took it.
Then I think then that would increase our chances of killing him.
He's just rolling extra dice, yes.
Yeah, I think if everybody thinks it's a good, I think that's excellent. So he's going to be.
Yeah, that should allow us to get other people across the road. Not that there's too many of us.
Right.
Yeah, let's do
Let
that.
me check on Bergman first. Yeah, not so much.
I'm still stuck.
I know. It's a brutal thing to be pinned.
Someone's got to.
Yeah, well, you've got somebody who just booked across the road to it, which is the absolute favorite part of it for Audie Murphy, because right as he's getting ready to fire at this guy coming out the door, which he did, you got Kerr running past him, so we're going to check and see if he's willing to shoot. I am afraid he is. Yep. All right, so the funny part is he just gave Kerr the scare of his lifetime as he fired past him, so let's check that shot.
I hope not.
That's a miss on the dude in the door. How we doing over? Oh, but there it is. Very nice. And Joe takes him out as he comes out of the door.
Medal of Honor, out of the way.
But because it's all simultaneous, he gets his shot at Kerr, who he was shooting at.
Wide right.
And that's all of it. No hit. Well, for the interest of time, I cut out one of the three. So you've made it through the two of the three more successfully than I figured. Before we evaluate, and I show you the board, which I can do by sharing my screen, I think.
Yeah.
I want to say, so let's go through and figure out each of your cards and how you were rated. So, G.I. Joe, your card said...
Fighter.
You're a fighter. How did you win? What was your victory condition?
You survive unhurt and your group aim is achieved, which I think we did. And you do not refuse aim to a wounded comrade who asks for it, which never
happened. Congratulations. So that has to go down as a win. Well done. Ingmar Bergman, what was your mission?
Fighter, reputation, possible heroism. I win if the group objectives are achieved, and I survive unhurt. And if anyone went down, I did not refuse to bring them forward with us, which did not happen.
For what it's worth, you would have actually failed the mission had you not had the bocage in front of you, because they missed it by 1 point. So there it is. Well done there.
Cool.
It's Ingmar Bergman. There's my Ingmar Bergman. O.H. Law, who is not here, however, has no heroism. She must survive unhurt, and provided you do not do anything to help the group aim or wounded comrades.
Well, that's a big win for her.
Win by inertia.
That's a slam dunk right there. She was 3 for 3.
Devlin. Doubtful heroism. She survives, whether wounded or not, which she did. And provided you do not use your weapons or refuse to help wounded who ask for it. So she wins. And of course, Audie Murphy. What was your story?
I was a fighter, possible heroism. Not possible, probable, I should say. You win if you kill at least 2 enemy, regardless of personal survival. So I killed 1 and wounded 1. Mm-hmm. And I provided I did not refuse aid to a wounded comrade. We did not have one. So
this is actually a win, because the way the game views killing, wounding is part of it.
All right.
So there it is. So wins all around. Well done. Actually, very well done. That's one of the... I'm actually a little shocked nobody died, but that usually somebody dies.
Nice job, everyone. I just want to give a special thanks to Jim on the behalf of the Georgetown University Wargaming Society. We really appreciate you taking the time to set up this session for us, and we hope to do more of these in the future. It was really fun, even though I did not get to see the bloodbath that I wanted.
I actually can bring tanks. Let me take one. Oh, nice! I didn't realize you had thrown up the Audie Murphy.
Oh, you hadn't seen that? No,
I just did. I was locked in the game. Let me. So, I think this is it. Are you all seeing this?
Sorry, guys, for not firing my weapon. I wasn't allowed to use it. So.
Wait, cool.
I hope you all are seeing
Oh,
this.
wow, that's crazy. I had the stone wall backwards. I thought the T was on the other end.
So these are the fields.
Okay.
Yep,
Lines of trees.
that I had.
This is where Law wound up.
Okay, that's not terrible.
That's the house.
That's the first house.
That's the bocage. There's the gap. There's the other gap.
Mhm.
And there's the damage. And that's where Bergman winds up. And Kerr, G.I. Joe, Murphy, Devlin. And that's the house.
Okay, I misimagined that house too, exactly where it was. I thought it was more down the road, but
Wow.
it's all
Yeah,
right. I can sling lead.
I knew kind of where it was, but I thought there was a road leading into it and trees on both sides of it. I don't know why.
Ah, got it.
I love this tabletop simulator. How much does this cost?
Always get it on sale, $10.
Oh,
Fair.
I don't have to wait for Christmas. I'll buy it next time it's on sale.
Yeah, next time
Where'd
it's
you
on
get it?
sale, always get it for $10. As I tell people all the time, I've got 1,700 hours in playing this thing, and so it's probably about 1/1000th of a cent per hour. So I'm doing good.
Oh, that's great.
But so
Who
yeah,
sells it?
it's on Steam. It's
Okay.
on Steam, so it's in the Steam Workshop. You can get it, and all of my games, including some of these, wind up in the Workshop, available for free downloads. So.
Yeah, I've seen a couple that they have an the Armchair website, and
Mhm.
some of the games are just amazing to look at. They just look fantastic.
That's awesome. Well, let me get my thing up here just so I'd be polite and say goodbye. Hello, everybody. All right.
All right,
Well,
great job.
No, thank you so much. The video will be posted so you can watch the whole experience. I do have tanks I can throw at you at some point, and we have other games we can run.
Good.
So
We're
But
ready.
we want satchel charges and we want bazookas. Okay,
I have those. Those are all available to you.
and it's got to be a 3.5-inch bazooka, not the 2.36. I don't want the little pop guns.
Get some mortars in there. so we
Keep
can
talking.
make-
I'm going to give you a Piat. Let you get within 2 scale inches and have to fire it directly under the engine.
We capture some Panzerfausts.
There you go. There's a weapon you.
We find them in one of the houses.
That's awesome. Well, I'm going to say thank you so much to Sebastian for the invitation. It was very gracious and a lot of fun.
Thank you, Sebastian.
And,
Thank you, Sebastian.
And it is being pointed out by the head of the website there that we actually now have a forum for the wonderful Georgetown University Wargaming Society over at Armchair Dragoons, who is us. And so please feel free to visit and check out our games as well as on the online channel. But yeah, so cool. Well, we'll be doing.
Jim, I have to run a game in 6 weeks for some of my students, and I have to do it this way. It's a matrix game.
Uh-huh.
So it is kind of a role-playing game. I learned a lot just from listening to you talk tonight. So
Awesome. Well, I'm great. I love Chris. I've known Chris for a very long time, and it's that is very cool to hear that. I'm kind of curious to hear what you think about it suddenly making its way into the virtual space. That's really, really neat. That's cool. Well, anyway, the ladies have left, so I can say, gentlemen, thank you very much for playing.
It was an absolute pleasure.
And
thanks, guys.